welcome to Marathon Recon, a mile-by-mile preview of the LA Marathon. Today we're running mile 2, and my guest runner is Gary. He's an avid runner of the LA Marathon. He's going to tell us all about what it's like to run mile 2 of the marathon, and also what it's like just to run the marathon in general, and why he's raising money for the worthwhile charity Back on My Feet. So let's get started, and we're off. Running down Cesar Chavez, that's where mile 2 starts, the famous farmer labor leader. And it seems pretty flat right now. Gary, tell us about how mile 2 is when you run it in the marathon. What's it like?
Mile 2 is actually great because after you come out of Dodger Stadium in mile 1, kind of flattens out, so you give yourself a chance to kind of settle into a rhythm.
How about in terms of the amount of people that are on the road? Is it still like a huge sea? Are you able to get into your pace?
You're still, you're still kind of in a crowd, but this is a place where it starts to disperse a little bit. So, mile 2 is actually one of my favorite miles. I run on Cesar Chavez Boulevard very regularly, so for me it kind of helps me settle into the race because we're into the second mile, then I'm loosening up a little bit, and it kind of feels like home turf.
Okay, great. So, how many times have you run the LA Marathon?
I've run the LA Marathon twice previously. It was my very first marathon in 1992. I ran it with my father, and then I took a 23-year vacation. And ran it again with my daughter last year in 2015. Yeah, it was her first marathon. And so I trained her and paced her, and it was great.
That's so sweet. And
so this will be third time.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Let's not get hit by a car. So this year you're running on your own.
Yes.
But you're running for the charity Back on My Feet. Can you tell us why you're running for Back on My Feet?
Well, there's actually a team of 13 of us that are running the marathon. We're fundraising for Back on My Feet. And Back on My Feet's a national nonprofit charity. And we work primarily with homeless shelters and other great organizations here in Los Angeles that are helping people to get back on their feet.
Oh, that's wonderful. We talked about that yesterday, and it's definitely a worthwhile charity where they raise money to help homeless people get into running, so they buy them shoes and running clothes, and I'm just so inspired by what you guys do. And also you have a running club that runs regularly, right? Is this part of your route?
Yeah, so we got a little emergency services activity going on here. So really what Back on My Feet does is we form partnerships with the different facilities, and I run with Homeboy Industries here in Los Angeles. And above and beyond the running, what we're really trying to do is work with people that are working hard to get their lives back on track. At Homeboy, it's former gang members, most of whom have been incarcerated, and they're working hard to reestablish themselves, maybe get some vocational training, finish their education. And the running is really an important component for them because it helps create discipline, sense of self-esteem, and a sense of community. So it's really a great experience for everybody.
Oh, that's awesome. And how long have you been working with Back on My Feet?
It's been a little over a year and a half that I've been running with them.
How did you first hear about it? What got you involved?
7 years ago I was watching CNN Heroes, and at that point in time they were only in Philadelphia, and then they came out to LA.
Yeah, that's where they started, in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and I got the word that they were in LA, and I knew immediately I wanted to run with them. And I've always been a big fan of the work at Homeboy, so when I found out they had a team at Homeboy, I was all in right away.
Tell us a little bit about what Homeboy Industries does for those of us that don't know.
Well, Homeboy Industry works with former gang members, and it really provides jobs as the heart of the program. And then the jobs are a springboard for integrating back into society and having a sense of normalcy outside the gang life. Homeboy also helps men and women reunite with their families,
Right.
you know, with their children and spouses, and really just gives them a firm foundation for moving forward and being positive and productive. And running is a great vehicle for that. Helps them create, you know, accountability, and really gives them a self-esteem that they're, you know, doing something positive for themselves.
Yeah, that's awesome. And they also make those really tasty chips too, right?
And
So-
pies.
Oh,
They
pies
make some
too.
awesome pies, yeah. There's a bakery and a cafe, so.
We're turning on Broadway right now, going underneath the beautiful Chinese gate of mile 2. So this is definitely one of the landmarks you want to be looking for in mile 2. We just came downhill and now we're running flat again. So again, pretty easy mile. Hopefully we don't look too winded.
Yeah, you
Cool,
know, so
thanks.
one of the things I love about the marathon is that you run through so many iconic areas of Los Angeles.
Right.
And Chinatown is definitely one of them.
Yeah, definitely. So you've run the marathon 3 times. Do you run other marathons besides LA?
Yeah, I've run a few other marathons. My favorite distance is actually the half marathon, but I really enjoy all distances. I ran a 50 miler on Catalina to celebrate my 50th birthday.
Oh, nice. I would have never guessed.
So for me, you know, running is really, it's kind of a celebration of health and well-being. And then it's also really a chance for me to connect with the community. I run with a couple other groups here in the LA area, running clubs and such. And it
We're at
gives
a
me
stoplight.
a chance to meet just a ton of great people, most of whom are really actively involved in the community and using running kind of as a way to make the community a better place.
Oh, yeah, that's great. So what made you make the leap to an actual marathon? Because I understand like half marathons, they seem, you know, possible to people, but a marathon is a different animal. So how did you make that leap? Like what made you decide, you know what, I'm gonna try a marathon?
You know, it was really kind of about trying to get out of my comfort level and challenging myself. So I think that's one of the great things about running is that, you know, there's always an opportunity to kind of test yourself and see what you've got.
Right.
And I was also, you know, having to do the extra preparation to run a longer distance was appealing to me because I kind of felt like I was stuck in a rut.
Yeah, so mentally, really, you go through a major growth journey when you train for a marathon. Can you tell us about some of the things that you learned as a part, in terms of your own personal growth from training for marathons and actually finishing them?
You know, I think the main thing actually is I tend to not be very patient. I kind of, you know, want instant results. And the marathon, you really have to be patient and you have to plan and plot out a training schedule.
Right.
And really just kind of stay within yourself, because if you press too hard, you'll end up getting injured or burn out. So to me, it was really about just, you know, planning and having patience and, you know, just being consistent.
Yeah, and you know, that's one of the good things I want to talk about is when you start the marathon, you feel so good and you're like, your adrenaline's pumping. It's so easy. One of the things as runners that we do is we tend to start out too fast.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then it ends up biting us in the butt in the end. So how do you maintain, you know, your discipline, your focus when it comes to a marathon, especially when you're trying to go weave in and out of the crowd and get around people, but you're also like super excited and you feel great. So how do you maintain the discipline? So I'm sure since you've done 2 of these LA marathons, you know where the tough parts of the course are. So,
you know, I learned my lesson in '92 because I was all hyped up and I went out way too fast.
Right.
And so what I try to do in almost every race now is just relax, you typically find somebody. It's one of the things I enjoy doing over the course of the race is kind of finding different people and pacing with them, running with them for a while.
Right.
And you know, you can burn a ton of energy in the early miles if you're trying to weave in and out and all of that.
Right.
So I find it's much better to just find someone, relax into a pace. You know, maybe even run the first couple of miles a little bit slower than your estimated race pace, and then just settle in and enjoy it.
So do you have a specific goal for this race this year? It seemed like last year you were running with your daughter, so you were kind of doing her pace. So this year it's all about Gary's pace.
Well, you know, ultimately for me it's really more about the experience.
Okay.
I would like to run under 4:30, which I don't think should be an issue.
Okay, good.
But it's really more about helping the organization raise money.
Sure.
And then also having some fun along the way. You know, there's just such a great positive energy when you're out there running, and it's really a chance to kind of just soak it all in over 26 miles.
Since there is a large number of people in your organization that are running the LA Marathon this year, are you planning to, you know, start out together, or is there any kind of meetup place, or do you have a cheer section?
We do. We have a cheer section at mile 22.
Okay.
And that's one of the things I really love about this LA Marathon course is that when you turn onto San Vicente, I think it's around mile 20, and you're heading down towards the finish, right around the time that you're starting to hit the wall, there's all these cheer stations set up. You're kind of rolling downhill, and I know I'm looking forward to seeing my people at mile 22 and getting a bunch of high fives and
because that's like one of the
in.
toughest miles of the course, mile 22.
Yeah.
Actually, could you tell us a little bit about your experience with that one?
Yeah.
And why it's so important to start out conservatively on mile 2?
Well,
so you can be prepared for mile 22?
Yeah, well, you know, typically that's kind of when the body starts to run out of energy, is at mile 20. And so then it just kind of becomes more of a mental than a physical thing.
Okay.
So I think it's just really important to stay positive while you're running and think positive thoughts, and, you know, visualize yourself finishing the course, and, you know, just letting the people that are cheering for you help to lift your spirits.
Yes, I was going to ask, how important is that for you to see the people on the side of the road of the course cheering for you? How much does that help you get through the challenges of the course?
Oh, it's super important. You know, as runners, we really appreciate all the people that come out and cheer and give us things along the way, and also the people that we'll run with along the way. In almost every race, I've, you know, had a couple moments running next to somebody where you offer words of encouragement. Sometimes you just share a smile or a nod.
Okay, well, this is almost our last turn. We're here at Cesar Chavez and almost Main Street. So we're still going downhill, still been pretty easy. We've been running on flat land and also downhill. So again, can't emphasize enough how important it is to continue to pace yourself, even though the course feels easy in the beginning and you're all excited, because we want to save that energy. You're going to need it on mile 22. Okay, so we're going to turn here. Oh, down here. Okay, so we're going to turn at the light, obey traffic laws. And finish up. So far this has been a really great course. We have some really nice running weather right now, but last year it was super hot.
It was crazy hot.
This year it's a month earlier, so hopefully the weather won't be as warm. But what are some of the things you can do to prepare for the race according to weather? So in particular, excuse me, this year, because of El Nino, they're thinking that it may rain. It's possible for it to rain. Have you been training in the rain at all?
I have actually done a few runs in the rain. So I find what's important for me is, you know, the 3 or 4 days ahead of the marathon, really make sure that I've done a lot of stretching, you know, that I've been eating right, that I'm hydrated, have a lot of potassium, either bananas or coconut waters, so that, you know, I don't start out behind the 8 ball.
Right. So how are you prepared? What do you wear to protect yourself from the rain?
You know, I don't think I'm gonna protect myself from the rain.
Okay.
I think
Gary's hardcore, guys.
I tend to overheat.
Oh, okay.
So if it's cold or if it's hot, I pretty much wear the same thing.
Okay.
I rock this sexy back on my feet,
yeah, that's
running
nice.
singlet wherever I go, and you know, the rain actually that could be interesting.
Definitely. Oh, Gary is definitely hardcore. We're getting some comments. We need some more hearts, though, please. Please send us lots of hearts so we can muster the strength to finish this mile strong. Well, Gary, it's been so awesome running with you. I'm really inspired by how much you do for the organization of Back on My Feet. In fact, I'm going to say right now that this year I'm going to make it to one of you guys' run clubs.
Okay.
At 5:30 in the morning.
So you can go to backonmyfeet.org, see a list of all the facilities we run with, get the schedule, and it's really one of those things that I get more out of it than I give as a volunteer.
Right.
And it really helps connect me to the community, which is really what excites me about running these days.
So how can we support you in particular in your fundraising efforts for Back on My Feet?
Easiest way is you can go to my website, nojokefitness.com. There's a Back on My Feet tab there, and there's a link to my Everyday Hero fundraising page. So if people want to do that, that would be great. Or they just want to help spread the word about the program.
Right.
That's also appreciated.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, we're almost here. I can see the finish line coming up. Do we have any more questions for Gary or comments about how nojokefitness.com? Find Back on My Feet tab on there. So please make sure you go to their website and check out how you can support this definitely worthwhile cause and help people get back on their feet through housing and training for jobs and hope. So we're gonna finish up here and we'll see you next time for mile 3. So make sure you send us some more hearts and check out Gary's page and make sure you cheer for Gary on the sidelines at the LA Marathon.
Thank you. Thanks,
And-
Martise.
Okay, we'll see you next time. Keep running. So tune in for mile 3 tomorrow.